Get Out was a huge success and it changed the way of telling and making horror films, but it also made everyone see Jordan Peele differently. We no longer just saw him as a comedic actor, but as a serious filmmaker. Us was also successful, and it showed that he did not make a one-hit wonder. It also let us know that these are the type of stories that Peele wants to make. Some horror going on with some deeper thoughts involved. And now that we have gotten his third film, there are some hefty expectations. Nope is written and directed by Jordan Peele, and it also features Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer as siblings who live in this small California town. They are horse trainers for Hollywood films and commercials. They come across some weird occurrences, and that's really all I want to say. I don't want to give a whole lot away, even though you might have already seen this movie, or if you haven't seen the movie, you could probably guess what the big attraction is. Don't expect me to explain what this means and what that means for 10 minutes. I'm not really going to talk about that. I will probably say what I think the movie is about, maybe towards the end, but I'm not really going to delve into it. I really more so just want to talk about why I think this movie works and what I think doesn't work in the movie. This movie feels like an homage to so many things. Whether it's intentional or not, it feels like there are inspirations from Spielberg and Shyamalan movies. Some shots feel like they are from an old sci-fi film. They even do the iconic Akira shot, which is really cool and probably the closest thing we'll get to an Akira movie from Jordan Peele. It also seems like there's some inspiration from Neon Genesis. I won't go any further than that. And even though it seems like there's a lot of inspiration and there are references and Easter eggs to other movies, he still makes the movie feel original, and there's plenty of wow moments that make it exciting to watch. Part of that has to do with cinematographer Hoyte van Hoytema. He has worked on films like Interstellar, Ad Astra, Dunkirk, Tenet. I know most of those were Nolan movies, but he is great with scale, and he is like the cinematographer for IMAX films. Definitely recommend to go see this with the biggest screen as possible. If you have an IMAX theater, please go see it in that. When they are looking up in the sky, it kind of feels like you're looking up in the sky too with them. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but it just shows the amount of scale that Peele and Hoytema are great with. And also the night light is just really pretty. There are not a lot of movies where when it's dark or when it's nighttime, it really feels like it. It's usually just really clever lighting to give the illusion that it's dark outside. This felt like nighttime to me. There's usually wide or mid shots that still let you get a sense of the area, and it makes the characters stand out more just because of their costumes, and then everything else in the background is pretty plain. I think just visually it is probably the most interesting out of Peele's filmography. Composer Michael Abels has also returned to work with Peele. This is by far Abels' best work out of Peele's entire filmography as well. Abels' music is a perfect balance between the horror, sci-fi, and western genre. He obviously adds tension when it's necessary, but the fascinating part is that he's doing something different when you're not expecting it. It really depends what genre is he going for and when does he decide to use that type of music. Without trying to really give anything away, there is a chase scene in the final act, and during a scene like this you would expect something bombastic in the music with like lots of percussion and lots of low string instruments kind of going crazy. But instead, Abel plays a Western melody, something that you'd probably hear from like the Magnificent Seven or from any Western movie from that time. It's different and it's unique. It makes Abel stand out from any other composer working today by doing stuff like that. I also have to give credit for the sound design. You can hear different noises, whether that's from animals or humans throughout the movie. It's really subtle and it kind of is just like being covered up by the music or something else. Now, I do think there are some effects that look a little unfinished in my opinion. It took me a little bit of time to get used to it. I wouldn't say it is a bad thing about this movie, it's just a little bit distracting. I also think the script could be a little bit tighter. This is Peele's longest running film, and I think you can feel it at times. I think it's particularly the second act going to the final act. There's something there that just feels a little clunky. Kaluuya and Palmer are playing opposites of each other, which adds a pretty fun dynamic for the movie. Kaluuya is interestingly underplaying everything and is pretty quiet in this movie. Some people might have wanted more out of him, but I thought the way he delivered his lines are different from what any other actor would do. There's one scene when he's talking to his sister about what he has seen in the sky. Some actors might have played it a little bit more emotional. Some might have played it like they are freaking out, a little worried. But Kaluuya doesn't do that. To me, he's playing his character OJ like an old Western cowboy who's very stoic and kind of grizzled. But also, Kaluuya's character has gone through some traumatic experiences, so I think it also makes sense why he is this way. Keke Palmer is great in this. Out of the entire cast, she is the standout. She's outgoing compared to everyone else. She never goes over the top either, even with the humor, which fits what Peele is going for. I do think their characters are a little thin for a Peele movie. Peele does a good job on showing their internal conflicts and how their personalities can mash at times, but I wish there was just a little bit more to build that up throughout the movie. I feel like some of that development is gone by the end. But this is a movie that also relies more on mystery than the characters. Yet the performances are well done and believable enough that it doesn't entirely bother me. But that also might change on a rewatch, which I'm looking forward to. Yeun is fantastic as always. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of his development or backstory, but I think his character is probably the most interesting out of the entire cast. Perea plays a guy named Angel. He's mainly just comic relief while he is helping these characters. There's a good amount of depth in this film that can be looked at, but you can still watch this as an enjoyable sci-fi western movie. There are multiple moments that are disturbing and visceral. It feels big, and part of that has to do with the great cinematography. The sound design is well done, and it adds a layer to the horror elements. All of the performances in this movie are great, especially Kaluuya and Palmer. I love what they're both doing dynamically with each other. Even though their characters might be a little bit thin, develop-wise, it's still entertaining enough to not really let it bother me. I think the script could be a little bit tighter going into the third act. Maybe that's because the movie's meaning seeps a little bit deeper than Peele's past two movies. That can probably make some moments feel a little clunky and not as transparent as I think they could be. But yeah, Peele has made another fun movie. You can feel a boost of confidence with his direction. The story is patient and it may not give a satisfying conclusion for everyone. I still think it's an overall interesting movie to watch. It should at least have you wondering what is going on and then just letting it all sink in. There's no doubt he is still one of the most interesting directors working today. Right now, I see this movie being about profiting off of trauma, capitalizing off of that, and that's really all I'm gonna say. Don't want to really delve into that and go down another rabbit hole and spend 10 more minutes talking about that. But who knows, I might be wrong. I am curious what other people think. I can't wait to see this again. Maybe I'll have a different interpretation of what this movie's about. Maybe I'll get a better understanding. That might be a complaint for some people. However, I just had a fun time watching this overall. I just want to see some really cool stuff and listen to Michael Abel's score. It is a fun time. Nope is dope. And with that, I am right now going to give Nope a 4 out of 5. Alright, well thank you so much for watching this, especially if you made it this far. Did you see Nope? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you have a different interpretation of what it's about? Let me know down below in the comments. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Do whatever you want. Any engagement will make me happy. Make sure you exercise every day. Make sure you drink your milk and have a great day.